Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius. Today we're going to talk about some very awesome stuff. We have a tower defense video game, a book about a dog combating a monster, and we have two awesome guests. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing SP Lowery. Mr. Lowry is an author, cartoonist, and horror film fan.
Thank you very much, Tiberius. It's a genuine honor to be here among your show.
Well, you're welcome. And today we're going to start off with the video of the week, and this is going to be a quantified solution.
And now it's time for the video game of the week.
Today's video game is Aether Rush. So this is a game on the Roblox platform. It was made by Quantization. Because it is on Roblox, you're able to play it on PC, Mac, Xbox, and even your cell phone. And it is free! You remember Quantization from their other game called Blox Wars, but that's a game for another day. So I entered the game, and boy does this place look cool. It's just such a big island. You are told to make a test game. So you might think it's just like other tower defense games. Well, it is, but what's awesome is that your towers can move. So if you build your stuff right, you can move your towers around and stay on the bad guys. The bad guys do not follow any pathing, and that is a pain too. I like the freeze towers because it makes it easier to ball all my guys up and then attack faster because they freeze the monsters. Well, there are circles that move your towers, and if you move your towers there, you will get bonus money, gold, or gems. I give Aether Rush 8 out of 10 stars because it is fun to play with my dad, but without any instructions, it's hard to find where to place your towers because you don't know where the mobs are coming from. Over 40 years, Lighthouse Central Florida has provided education, independent life skills, and job training to thousands of Central Floridians who live with blindness or any degree of vision loss. Whether it's picking out clothes in the morning or just moving around your community and serving Orange, Seminole, and Osceola counties, contact Lighthouse Central Florida at 407-898-2483 or visit them online at lighthousecfl.org.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
And now it's time for the book of the week, BoBo and the Monster. This was written by SP Lowery. Wait, that is you! I smell a good review! Now we're into the back of the book. In fact, Mr. Lowry, would you like to do the honors?
Absolutely, Tiberius. Meet BoBo, a Westie dog who patrols LaBelle Street with pride, knowing that pesky pests like Scotty the Squirrel can't sneak past him. But every Thursday, when a monster wreaks havoc on the neighborhood, BoBo goes from guard dog to scaredy cat. When an unlikely critter gets caught in the monster's path, will BoBo be able to face his fears in time to save the day? For children and canines ages 5 to 8.
Wow, that's really cool. But this is not an AR book, so you don't get any points for reading it. But it's still a good book and worth a good read, too. This book is rated for 2nd grade and 2nd month. It is an interesting book about a dog named BoBo. BoBo is a Westie, which is a type of dog. So BoBo guards the neighborhood from all bad things, but every Thursday he runs into a problem. A squirrel in the area found a secret weapon against BoBo. This was the monster. It would come down the road and make lots of noise and take random things from the neighborhood. This monster was so scary that BoBo would run back in the house that his owner is in. This was not good. Each week, BoBo would try to confront the beast, and each time he would run home. But one time, this girl was in trouble and needed help. Bobo may have been annoyed by the squirrel, but he always helped those in need, so he barked at the monster and stood up to it and saved the squirrel, which is Scotty the squirrel. His owner was very, very proud of him after that. Well, I give Bobo and the Monsters 10 out of 10 stars because it was a good story and I really liked how you revealed the monster at the end. But I won't tell everyone what it was, but you should go ahead and buy the book.
Thank you, Tiberius. That means so much coming from you, and especially with the ending, because when I wrote it and created it, I wanted to give some kids a chance as they're reading to think, wait a minute. And then once they get to the end, some realize, I knew it!
And that's so cool because you get to know what it is at the end when it just stumps you. Am I right?
Oh, pretty much, yes.
It just stumps you.
Yeah, and it's also set up to where when you give it a second or third read, you start to notice other little things that you didn't realize.
Like in the pictures.
Yeah, these little clues along the way that make you realize,
clues.
Wait, that's what I missed.
See David Smith, Law.com.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
Wait, you are not Chuck.
My dad can help when people get hurt. He loves to help people.
If you are ever injured at work or in a car accident, you should call my friend Chuck.
You can call him at 407-801-2667.
That website again is cwsmithlaw.com.
Offices, Orlando.
Does it actually have that much W's?
Mid-State Fire has been providing top-quality fire equipment services for 3 generations to the Central Florida area. Don't wait for an emergency to repair. Call Mid-State Fire today at 407-246-8855. Get your fire extinguishers and emergency lighting for both your home and businesses by visiting www.midstatefire.com. That number again is 407-246-8855.
And now it's time for an interview of an interesting person. Today's is going to be so much fun. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing SP Lowery. Mr. Lowry is an author, cartoonist, and horror film fan.
Yes, absolutely. It's an honor to be on your show, Tiberius, and you're right about all accounts. You know, cartoonist and writer and big horror fan, and very passionate person of all 3 subjects.
So first off, how are you enjoying being on the show?
It's very exciting. I mean, I'm a little bit nervous because, you know, I want to do a really good and, you know, be very respectful of your world and just embrace every moment of it. You know, it's not every day you get to be a guest on a cool person's show, especially such a cool young lad like yourself.
Okay, so I have to ask. You wrote the book Bobo and the Monster. What motivated you to write this book?
Well, it all started with the image on the cover, where it all started with a joke made by my mother about something Bobo would go outside to do in the backyard, which involves the twist. And the idea just grew from there, and I just started expanding the story and just thought of, wait, what if it was a funny reveal to kid readers that they saw it? And Bobo is my best friend and little brother, and I wanted to make him a beloved character to all their other kids the way I saw him.
So Bobo was your dog?
Yeah, Bobo was real. He was the dog. He was, you know, you knew what he was saying, and he knew when you felt bad, he'd cuddle up, and he'd do very silly things to make you laugh, to cheer you up.
Okay. So what gave you the idea to tell the story as a children's book?
Well, being that I was had a lot of experience in college with drawing and illustrating and practicing with Photoshop programs, I realized, wait, what if I use these talents to combine and to put into illustrating and drawing? And I've also been passionate about drawing comic books, so I thought I'd create my own, you know, combination of all these little passions.
Okay. Well, which are easier to write for, kids or adults?
It can be a little easier to write for kids, and, you know, because, you know, kids have a very such a innocent way of looking at things, whereas adults, it could be a lot more challenging because there's so much that adults, like and don't like.
Okay, so what is the best part about being an author?
Well, it could be about, when you work hard with trying to write for yourself and try to think of writing for others. If you do all the hard work yourself, you don't have to report to anybody. When you be your own boss, you can take your time with your passion and just be creative with ideas and just, you just go with it and just put it down and just keep going. And don't feel like you're pressured to get this finished by Christmas. You just do what feels right and what works for the book.
Wow. So you drew all the illustrations in the book. Did you use your skills as a cartoonist to draw what you wanted?
Yes, every little bit of it. And it does take a while to draw.
Yeah, it does. Because you have to get those right lines and everything.
Yeah, and also, the more I worked with it as drawing, I started discovering other little sequences on my Illustrator program that I realized, wait, I can do that? Well, in that case, what if I took that new function and put it into this page?
Yes. Well, does it take a lot of training to be able to do this?
Yes, it does. It does take time, Tiberius. It's a lot of practice. And, it can be difficult at first. You can be racking your head and oh, how am I going to master this? But, you just take your time. It's not an overnight thing. It takes, weeks, months,
Yeah, weeks,
years.
months, even years too, yeah.
But, in the end, it's worth it. And then you'll look back on how tough it was the first time and you realize, man, I really have learned so much and I have developed so much. I can do this. And if I can overcome this challenge, then I can overcome another big challenge.
Mm-hmm. So what is the hardest part about being an author?
The hardest part, it can be what they call second-guessing yourself. You think, well, this idea feels real great, but then again, you get another idea and you think, oh, well, is this idea better than that one? And then you feel like you're changing everything from the beginning and you feel like you're starting all the way over from step one.
Mm-hmm. So what is the most rewarding part about your job?
As a children's book creator, it is when I've had friends and colleagues buy a copy of the BoBo book, and I had one colleague tell me that she was getting not one but 2 copies for her grandchildren. And when she told me her grandson was using BoBo, my book, to learn to read, I thought, oh my God, that is so wonderful. When this child grows up, he's going to look back on my book and there's just no word for that. It's just so nice and very rewarding to the heart. And, it makes me feel so good. I get the tingles all over.
So you like horror movie conventions. I like some scary movies too. Well, what got you interested in scary movies?
Well, scary movies go back to when I was in junior high school, when I was watching scary movies that were censored for television. And at first, as a kid, I was too scared to watch them. But when I watched them, there was something about it that just had me, just glued, and I wanted to see more and learning more about the mythology of each of these scary characters, such as Chucky and then Jason and Michael Myers and so forth. And then when I got to working at a video store, Blockbuster Video, watching free rentals, I started watching more and more and then I was eventually told about a famous convention where you can meet horror movie actors in person. I thought, oh, well, this sounds like a lot of fun.
Wow.
And when I got there, my love of it, it just blossomed because I met more fans that were like me and saw others dressing up as horror movie characters and made me want to do the same thing.
Did it blow your mind to see that for the first time?
Tiberius, I could not stop smiling. I was just I felt like a happy kid at Christmas, just smiling all the time. I thought, oh my gosh, that's so and so from that other movie, and they're really there. And it was just, there's just no word for it.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Well, that's really, really cool. So your bio says that you like doing acting at the conventions. I remember seeing people dress up at medical. Is it like that?
Yeah, when people dress up as comic book characters, whether it's Captain America or Thor, yeah, there's people that dress up as, say, Freddy Krueger or Chucky or Jason, excuse me, or even some of the old-fashioned monster characters like the Invisible Man. And so it inspired me to dress up as Jack from The Shining, Jack Nicholson. And coincidentally, nobody else has been dressing up like Jack each year like I have. And I got a lot of attention for it since my first year. And every year that I go, even when I'm not in costume, people recognize me and go, hey, it's Jack. And I feel like a celebrity.
Okay, so now you also are an author, cartoonist, and do some acting at conventions. Which is the most fun to do?
Oh, it's so tough to choose one over the other, Tiberius, but it's got to be with the acting at the conventions, because there was a little boy that reminded me of Danny from The Shining, and I had him think, I said, let's try this out. And so he acts like he's running away from me, and I go after him with the fake axe going, Danny! And people were smiling, turning their heads, looking at us, and some of them were filming with their phones, and I act like I'm going at them, and people were just kind of applauding, like, oh my gosh, they're doing right out of the Shining movie.
Wow, that's funny. Okay, so what is your greatest achievement in life?
Greatest achievement in life, Tiberius, is finally gaining self-love of myself, because I was in a very sad spot a couple of years ago when, I won't say too much, but I had a bad relationship with this person who was not a good person. But when I stopped with that and I got better and recovered from it, it made me so much more appreciative of myself and learned to really appreciate things and be so much more confident and just the best version of myself I could ever be. And I could not feel more proud and accomplished, it's like finally, I finally gained this after all this time.
Mm-hmm. Well, who will motivate or inspire you the most in following your dreams?
That's you really hit me with a good question, Tiberius, because I have so many personal mentors that I've looked up to, but it would have to be my dad. Yeah. Mm-hmm. He was a personal hero to me, and I miss him, and he was the one.
Mm-hmm. So I saw in your bio that you also work with a medical company. Can you tell me more about that?
Yes, it is with Teladoc, and Teladoc is about virtual medicine, where our goal is not to replace your family doctor. It is where where your mom or your dad or anybody can call in to request for a medical doctor that's licensed in your home state to reach out and phone call you or video chat with you to talk with you about any sickness you've been having, whether it's strep throat or a bad stomach ache, and they can arrange for a medical doctor to reach out and contact with you to talk with you about these symptoms and potentially prescribe you a medicine to pick up from your local drive-thru for your convenience. It's 24/7, and it's for non-critical medical situations, and it's very good for people right now who are too scared to go out and about because of the COVID virus.
Mm-hmm. So, Bob, what's the coolest thing that you have ever done?
Coolest thing I've ever done is... You got me with a good one, because I'm looking back and thinking, man, I've done a lot of cool things. It has been with being brought in by this married couple that I met at the horror movie convention that ran their own haunted theme park, where every Halloween, every October, you'd walk through this haunted forest with an old-fashioned lantern, and some of us actors would pop out from the shadows and spook you. And and it was known as the Dark Path Haunt, and they were very family-oriented. I developed a lot of great friends from them, and they're very nice and very kind and very cool, and they've helped me to really build up my self-esteem in the past few years. And it's been so cool with acting, with popping out and scaring people and just getting a real shock and shake out of them, and being in costume and being right out of a movie or scary movie. And when you can just do this again and again and again, it's so cool. It was so cool to do it every October.
Mm-hmm. What advice should you give my listeners if they wanted to grow up and be an author or a cartoonist?
It's challenging to be either one, because it's hard work with learning to write, because like we were talking about earlier with finding what appeals to people, or to draw, because both are the word for both of them is subjective, which means anybody could like or dislike, and it just depends on what you feel most happy with. If you feel happier with writing, anybody can handwrite or type words, but the story write is very tough. But if you feel happier doing that, or drawing, illustrating, focus more on that. If you feel like one is not working for you, then try the other.
Mm-hmm. Well, do you have a website or Facebook for my listeners that want to follow you?
Yes, there is a BoBoandthemonster.com. There is also a Bobo and the Monster Facebook page.
Well, thank you, Mr. Lowrey, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Yes, actually, I'd love to stick around. Thank you for asking.
Oh, you're welcome.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank Boggy Creek Airboat Adventures for being one of our sponsors. I got to go on an airboat and saw a real gator. I even got to go to the gem mine and mine for some gems. We ate a steak dinner at the restaurant and even got some gator bites. If you want to have a blast with the entire family, I suggest you go to www.bcairboats.com right now to get your tickets today. The website again is bcairboats.com. Oak Ridge Gun Range is a family-oriented shooting range that has been in business for over 30 years. They specialize in basic firearm training and offer numerous services such as consignments, gun trades, gunsmithing, and concealed weapon classes. I even got my training for gun safety at Oak Ridge Gun Range. Great customer service, and firearm safety is what they do best. So find out more at oakridgegunrange.com.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
Thank you so much, Mr. Lowrey, for your help with Math Corners. Today, we're going to talk about stem and leaf plots. So I've been doing my IXL.com math questions over the break, and I got to a section called stem leaf. I have never actually even seen this before. My mom did not believe it was a real thing. Even my math expert dad had never learned of stem leaf. So it was cool to see how we got to learn it together. So a quick Google search defines stem leaf as a special table where data value is split into a stem first digit or the digits of a number, and a leaf is usually the last digit of the number. Now, this is very useful for storing large amounts of data. So let's say we have a list from students ranging in ages from 8 to 23. You would have a stem for each of the possible tens place digit. That would be 0, 1, and 2. You would write that down in order from the stem column. Depending on the number of students, you would have to list them off in the chart. But now, you only have to list the ones digit in the leaf column. So if there are 3 students under 10, you would list the 3 numbers horizontally in the chart, like 8, 8, 9. Then let's assume that there are 5 children older than 9 and less than 20. They fall under the 1 stem because the tens digit is 1. You can list those 5 like 1, 3, 3, 6, 6. Finally, you have 2 more students that are over 18, so you can list them as 2 and 3. Now, when you look look at the chart, you can refer to the stem and see the tens digit and look at a leaf to not only see the ones digit for the value, but quickly see how many students fit in that category. Now just use the leaf area to answer all sorts of word problems, like how many students are there and all. For that, you just count all leaves. Or how many students under 20. You can count the leaves with the stem of 0 and 1. So very fast way to answer hard questions with lots of data points. So Mr. Lowry, do you now know all about how to make a stem and leaf plot?
Would it be too much if I asked if you could be my tutor for this math subject, Tiberius? Because I'm not sure if I can, I think I might need some educational help with this math subject.
Okay. How about Friday, though? Okay.
Done deal. I'm always off. I'm not working on Fridays. Lucky me.
Lucky. Well, thank you so much, Mr. Lowry, for your help with math quinners.
Oh, anytime.
And now it's time for the Heart of the Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living by the Heart of a Lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. Well, this week we're going to talk about obedience. For me, I think obedience is being fully committed to doing what is pleasing to God. While the qualities of obedience are compliance with a good attitude and respect for the laws. You know when someone is obedient when they follow instructions willingly and thoroughly. So this week, I wanted to talk about Buddy the Elf. You know that elf on the shelf? I was told not to touch it because if I did, I would not get any presents for Christmas. All the kids in my school were told this. So we did obedience and did not touch our elves with a smile on our faces. But my dad disagrees. He says that being good because we wanted presents is not obedient. That because it was right with a smile on our face would be correct. But I'm not sure about how I feel on this one. But for now, I will go with obedience, and I look forward to seeing Buddy next year. So, Mr. Lowry, did you seek or use obedience at all this week?
Obedience? I do see it as it is a good thing to follow, especially when you want to work hard at your where you work and who you're working for, and it can lead you to good things and getting noticed by higher leaders.
Wow, that's really cool. Well, of all the Heart of a Lion virtues, leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility, which one is your favorite?
That's a tough one. I mean, for me, it's a tie between integrity and nobility. I mean, you say I can only choose. Wow. You say I can only choose one, right?
Yes, only one.
Nobility, because being noble, I believe to me, it feels like goes along the lines with like loyalty, nobility, it's
because you're being noble.
Yes, being noble and by heart and doing what is right and being aware of consequences and the good and the bad outcomes of things.
Mm-hmm. Well, we should always try and be lion strong in everything we do.
I love that, Tiberius. That's it. I love that acronym, and I am going to make mention of that of my team meeting with my colleagues and my manager, and just quote what you told me, and plant that seed in their heads so they can use it from time to time.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing SP Lowery for being on my show.
Thank you, Tiberius. This was a personal triumph for me. I couldn't feel more honored, and I hope that when BoBo and the Birdies is fully finished, I'd be honored to be a guest on your show again if you would like to have me back in the future.
Well, it was so much fun talking with you today, too. And I hope wanted to see your cartoons in the next episode about BoBo.
Absolutely. If BoBo were here, I mean, and if he could talk, he'd be just
Yes, he would
splendid.
just be like,
yeah, and he'd be very proud, and if he could be here, and yes, I'd be very happy and thrilled to show off the next BoBo book on your show.
And be sure to listen to us next week on the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy!
The Tiberius Show is not filmed in front of a live studio audience. Executive producer, Joseph Boyd. Production editor, Pierre Laguerre. Green Room Manager, Danny Boy, and your program host, Tiberius Boy. The Tiberius Show is copyright 2018.